Installing wheel lights on my Trail Boss was not an easy task. There's almost zero room for error, and if you don't take your time, it could be a disaster. But I got it done, and they tie in really nice. The wheel lights I installed are from Mick Tuning. They're the 15.5-inch 5-row pure white. This set does not come with hardware or a wiring harness, so you will have to purchase that separately. I chose to go with all stainless steel hardware, number 6 3/4-inch screws, washers, and locking nuts. For the wiring, I went with 12 gauge. Each wheel light pulls about 3.8 amps, so that size wire should work fine. I attached all the lights together and then ran one wire to my Novesight wireless switch panel on a 30 amp fuse. For the install, you want to make sure that you take your time to get these lined up correctly and safely. Let's go through that now and then we'll check them out. Starting on the passenger side, after removing the wheel, locate the 2 brake caliper bracket bolts. Once removed, the caliper should slide off. Be sure to secure the caliper, making sure not to damage the brake line. After taking off the 1 screw on the rotor, it should slide right off, giving you access to mount the wheel light to the dust cover. Taking a look at the wheel light, it comes with 5 brackets, but we will only be using 4. You want to remove the bracket closest to where the ring is attached together with the 4 screws, so you can peel back the ring to slide the caliper into place. Now we can hold the wheel light against the dust cover, making sure that the gap is even between the wheel light and the dust cover all the way around. Start by drilling your first hole on the front side of the dust cover. You can then spin the wheel light around until you get the brackets to fit on the back side of the dust cover. Install 1 screw on the top and 1 on the bottom, and then tighten them up. Before installing the other 2 brackets, I suggest putting the wheel on to make sure the wheel light is not hitting the inside of your wheel. If you have 18s, there is minimal room for error here, and there is not a lot of space. Once verified, you can now drill out the other 2 holes and install the hardware, making sure everything is tight and secure. Before putting the rotor back on, I would do one last test putting the wheel on just to double check you aren't hitting the inside of the wheel. To reinstall the brake caliper, take off 2 of the screws on the wheel light that holds the ring together. You can also go ahead and reinstall the rotor. With the 2 screws removed, peel back the ring, opening up just enough space to slide the calipers back into place. Getting the front calipers lined up did take some finagling, but I didn't want to bend the wheel light too much. After getting the caliper bracket back on, you can tighten the bolts up and torque them down. Pop the 2 screws back into place on the wheel light, and then just make sure nothing is hitting. They want you to have a 1/4-inch gap between the caliper and the wheel light, but on the front with the bigger calipers, it's almost impossible. There is a small gap, but it's not exact to their recommendation. I tried to allow for the proper gap, but moving that just the smallest amount, the wheel light will end up hitting the inside of your wheel, and you definitely don't want that. The last thing to do is secure the wire, following the brake line and making sure it is also not hitting the inside of the wheel. Moving on to the rear wheel light install, there's a connector you'll need to take loose. Press the red tab back with a small flathead screwdriver and press down to release the connector. Taking the caliper bracket bolts off was a little harder on the rear. I had to get some help adding a wrench to the ratchet to break it loose, but eventually got both of the bolts out. Again, once the caliper's off, secure it up and out of the way. The rotor on both sides of the rear were seized up a little, so I took a rubber mallet and lightly tapped around it to break it free. To align the wheel light on the rear, I pretty much used the same process, and luckily the back ones are a little easier to install because the brake calipers are a lot smaller. You will still need to make sure you place the part of the wheel light that separates with 2 screws near the brake caliper location in order to peel the wheel light back to slide the caliper in place. Reattach the 2 screws and you're good to go. Now that everything is back together, you can see there's plenty of room between the caliper and the wheel light. I attached the power for the light following the wiring harness. Once the wheel's back on, make sure to give it a final check just to make sure nothing is touching your wheel. I did also go back and attach tie wraps around the wheel light just in case the adhesive on the LED strip decides to come loose from the rings. Now, if you're doing this for the first time, be prepared to spend a whole weekend getting these installed and wired up. Before it gets dark, let's check them out during the day. So I'll turn it on, and back here you've got those at the rear, so you can see them during the day, but like I said before, let's wait for it to get dark and see how these look. Guys, these look really awesome at night. Let me first show you what the wheel lights look like by themselves. I love how these just aren't crazy obnoxious. They just flow with the truck. So now let's flip on the rock lights. Let me show you the back. And here's how it looks up front. I really did not expect to like these as much as I am, but I really do. Let's now see all the lights together. So I'm gonna hit the remote start. And we are looking really good. I wanted to get a really cool shot from a distance for you guys, but when I went across the bridge, it just looked like a big blur going across the screen, almost like a spaceship. Well guys, I never thought I would say this, but these wheel lights actually look pretty cool. They're not overpowering, but they just blend in well with all my other lights. I do also want to thank McTuning for sending these out for me to be able to show you guys how to install them on my Trail Boss. Well, thanks for watching, and until next time, we'll see y'all.